Young and Restless early spoilers July 27th to 31st. Nikki devastated and Kane strikes shock deal. Young and the Restless spoilers for July 27th to 31st, 2026 reveal Nikki Newman, Melody Thomas Scott, is crushed after her doctor appointment. Also, Kane Ashby, Billy Flynn, is making a bargain that you're going to need to see to believe. Also, during the week of July 27th through the 31st, we're going to see Phyllis Summers, Michelle Stafford, doubling down, Tracy Abbott, Beth Maitland, taking a huge risk, and Victor Newman, Eric Braeden, being quite skeptical about something. And as always, on Early Edition Day, we briefly chat about what's the rest of this week, and then we get into the next week's spoilers. With that in mind, on Wednesday, July 22nd, Nikki is really hoping that she is going to get good news from her doctor. And Victor tells Nick Newman, Joshua Morrow, and Victoria Newman, Amelia Heinley, that Nikki is really worried she will be permanently blind. So, Victor quickly checks Matt Clark's Roger Howarth ankle monitor and says the guy was at the GCAC all night. And Nick says Phyllis was making out with Matt and then took him upstairs. Nick is really angry that Phyllis wants Matt to stay in Genoa City, and he's also upset that Phyllis doesn't think that Matt is dangerous. Victoria, Nick, and Victor all go along with Nikki to the doctor. Claire's very concerned as well. So, the doctor takes off the bandages, and he says one person can come in with her after he pulls them off. And she chooses Victor, and the doctor says even if you can't see now that Nikki might still recover her sight, that it might come back gradually. So Victor's holding her shoulder as the doctor says, "Open your eyes." Nikki does, but she says it's all black. "I can't see anything." Victor kisses her head. She's devastated. They take Nikki home trying to be positive, but she says she may stay blind. She thanks Nick, Victoria, and Claire, who are all there for her. And Nikki insists on taking herself up to bed as they all watch her go. Once she is alone, Nikki smashes her mirror in the bedroom and then starts crying. Tracy's in front of her laptop while Kyle Abbott, Michael Mueller, Jack Abbott, Peter Bergman, and Diane Jenkins, Susan Walters, are seated at the table, but where they can't be seen by the screen. Martin Laurent Christopher Cousins calls on a video chat with Tracy. And before that, she tells everybody to just be completely quiet. That way they can listen. Martin is thrilled to see Tracy, and he asks are his letters reaching her, and she asks for his help and asks Martin about Dr. Markham, Jerry Burns, and yes, Martin knows him. He says he met Markham through his twin Alan Laurent, also Christopher Cousins, and also while he was impersonating his brother, he was pretending to be Markham's friend. So, Tracy tells him that Markham helped a crazy woman wreak havoc on her family and that the guy kidnapped Diane. So, Tracy asks Martin for help finding Dr. Markham, and then Martin refers to Markham as a sociopath, which is kind of a pot-kettle situation, and he does admit it takes one to know one. Martin calls Markham's academic papers the work of a lunatic, but then Martin says Markham and Alan used to visit a summer house together. But Martin wants a favor before he gives specific information, and he asks Tracy to come see him in person at the prison. Martin says he has things to tell her, but only in person. And he tells Tracy that he still loves her and will give her what she needs, but in person. Tracy agrees to set up a meeting and ends the call. And of course, Diane hates that Tracy went through this. She doesn't really want to see Martin in person, but she's going to do it to get what they need. But Diane thinks they can maybe figure out how to find the summer house without Tracy having to go see Martin in the psych ward of the prison. But Tracy still plans to go because she wants to prove she is not scared of Martin. We've got Phyllis waking up to Matt sleeping on the sofa in her hotel room, and Phyllis asks why he's not in bed with her. Matt says he didn't want to presume, and Phyllis calls the serial rapist a gentleman. I don't understand what Young and the Restless is thinking with this. Great actor, terrible role. Matt says he has never been called a gentleman, and Phyllis says he's a good kisser. Turns out Matt stopped things before they got intimate. Clearly, Phyllis was ready to give it all up, and he said because he's planning to leave town, Matt thought he would be taking advantage of Phyllis. She tells Matt she feels safe with him and says forget about Nick. But Matt doesn't want to give Nick another reason to hate him. And Matt says he just wants a new life without all these complications. So Phyllis says he can go, but staying could be life-changing. And then Matt asks her to buy him breakfast, because he's broke. So Phyllis takes him to society and then offers him a job at Arabesque, working for her, even though his only job experience is in doing criminal things. Thursday, July 23rd, Adam Newman, Mark Grossman, and Chelsea Newman, Melissa Claire Egan, make a power move trying to impress Victor. Sort of. They're being sneaky. I bet Adam and Chelsea are going to convince Victor that they're going to be ruthless with Sally Spectra, Courtney Hope, and forcibly take Newman Media from her. I would honestly be stunned if Victor buys what they're selling, but maybe he's distracted by the Nikki stuff. Also, Nick makes a confession to Sharon Newman, Sharon Case. Now, this may be something to do with his drug addiction or Nikki. Or maybe Nick drops the bombshell that Sharon's rapist, who raped her once and attempted to rape her a second time, is now in a romance with Phyllis, and that Nick saw them together. On Friday, July 24th, Devin Hamilton, Brighton James, finds common ground with his mother-in-law, Ashley Abbott, Eileen Davidson. I'm thinking Abby might have talked to her mom about Devin's anger issues. So, maybe Ashley's trying to help Abby out. Kane strikes a bargain. I'm hoping it's a fun and flirty bargain with Lily Winters, Crystal Khalil. Something really interesting, really surprising for us. But it might also be with Billy Abbott, Jason Thompson, about Chancellor, or even Holden Novak, Nathan Owens, since they're both supposed to be coming to work for him. Sally and Billy find out that Jill Abbott, Jess Walton, has been keeping a secret. That is worrisome. Then, the week of July 27th through the 31st, we're going to see how Nikki's coping with her blindness, and if she will lean more on family or continue to withdraw into the shell. Nick, Victoria, Claire, and Victor are all increasingly concerned and hope that Nikki's sight will return soon, but it may be a while. I want to see Adam over there talking to her about his experience while he was blind. I think that would be great. They kind of teased that the other day, but then they tend to put him on the back burner all the time. We'll also find out if D.A. Christine Williams, Laura Lee Bell, is willing to make some sort of offer to Patty Williams, Stacey Hayduke, to get the goods on Victor. Christine was pretty ticked that Victor fabricated evidence and had Victoria give her the false info, and then Christine had arrests made that she later had to drop. Tracy is likely going to meet with Martin and will do it in person at the prison unless Kyle and Jack can find Markham's summer house. We may get more scenes of Christopher Cousins being a creep. Hopefully Tracy comes out of this unscathed. Adam gets an answer from Sally and Audra Charles, Zuleika Silver, on whether they'll accept his deal. And then Adam is full steam ahead, trying to pull the wool over Victor's eyes about it. I still don't think he'll believe that Adam is really going to target Sally. Ashley is going to be leaving Genoa City soon, since Jack is home and Diane is safe. And we'll learn more about Jill's big secret, and I'm especially worried that it might concern her health. I also suspect that Matt's continued presence in Genoa City and his growing connection to Phyllis might be what pushes Nick to relapse. Phyllis won't back down and is basically taking ownership of Matt. So, she and Victor may have some sort of twisted custody battle over the guy.